that doesn't really meet the traditional conception. A unit of account. Well, I don't go to a store in which my baseball bat is denominated in Bitcoin or micro Bitcoin. If I go online, it's rare that I see any object necessarily denominated in Bitcoin. I can use Bitcoin to pay for it, but usually the unit of account is some kind of other currency. So it's hard to think of Bitcoin as a typical currency. Well, is it an investment? Maybe it's a security. I see in the background someone who has been in my securities law class. Well, we securities lawyers actually have a definition as to what constitutes a security and when you bring in the feds and the Securities and Exchange Commission. And there are certain key elements of what a security is. For those lawyers and the law geeks, no commonality. You don't have lots of folks participating in the same way in which one participates in a Bitcoin chain. Well, then maybe we'll just call it an asset. And that's where obviously the IRS has come in to say, well, this is property. But it's very weird because property is not always given this anonymity, much less pseudonymity. And then, so how do you assess property rights in a world in which you not only have wild fluctuations, but you don't necessarily have identities that are created in a typical property-based system? And then finally, is it then, we'll just give up and we'll say, it's not really a currency, but it's a payment system, right? We've already seen you have different participants. You have these brilliant young miners who create a ledger that's then broadcast to the world, and therefore it fulfills this clearing and settlement system. That's hard because it's not centralized, and the different nodes and different parts in that clearing and settlement system don't operate in anything that we've seen before. For this reason, federal regulators have tried to call it something called a money service business, like a cash checking of firms, and to make them more compliant with know thy customer and money laundering systems. But even here, there's a certain question as to what is the integrity of that payment system, where you have not only the exchanges themselves that can be hacked, or you have these folks who can create Ponzi schemes not in the Bitcoin, but around the Bitcoin system, right? And what happens as to, well, once you keep your Bitcoin, what is the integrity of the saving and storage system, these digital wallets, right? It doesn't look like, it doesn't seem